Before we get started, please go over to Amazon.com and grab a copy of my book, Education and Justice. If you have an African-American son in public school, you need this book because I teach you the many ways that public schools mistreat African-American boys and what you can do to help your son. So go over there and get your copy immediately. So last night, I woke from my sleep deeply concerned about America and especially African Americans. Let me be clear about what we're experiencing and why my sleep was interrupted. We're experiencing a white supremacy takeover. That's right, a white supremacy takeover. Now let me explain, because we know white supremacists have always dominated America and they still do. But here's what's new. Here's what's different. White supremacists believe they lost the country. They argue they lost the country to progressives. In other words, progressives now control the country. They argue progressives took control of America for several reasons. First, progressives won the war against slavery. Second, progressives won the war against Jim Crow with the enactment of a bunch of civil rights laws. Then progressives took control of the federal government, such as the DOJ, FBI, EPA, and other alphabet soup federal agencies. Additionally, you have progressives in Congress and the federal court system and so on. And what really bothers them is that many of these progressives are black. So what are these white supremacists, white nationalists, white Christian nationalists, white evangelicals doing now? They're doing exactly what Trump told them to do, which is take back your country. And that's literally what they are doing now that Trump is reelected, replacing all progressives in the federal government with MAGA loyalists, who are largely white supremacists, white Christian nationalists, white evangelicals, etc. Hello, everyone. I got great news. The merch is finally here. We've been waiting and waiting, but we can finally begin branding our channel. But we need your help to get our brand out there. If you like what we provide and like what you see, please go to the channel and grab your hoodie, your t-shirt, your mug, and we got more designs and products on the way. Just visit our YouTube channel at the Defiant Lawyers Network. Also, we will donate a portion of each dollar you spend on our merch towards some nonprofit. And remember, as always, stay woke. And guess what? They had all this laid out in details in Project 2025. It's still on the internet. And I started warning people about Project 2025 over a year ago when people were unaware of Project 2025, right? Folks were not listening to anything about Project 2025. In fact, the first video I did got a very few views until Taraji P. Henson mentioned Project 2025 on the BET Awards last year. Now, obviously, the country disregarded all those warnings from me and a few others and reelected Trump. Low information voters basically disregarded Project 2025 and elected Trump, or reelected him. And now Trump and MAGA are implementing Project 2025. Elon Musk says he's trimming costs by cutting $2 trillion from the budget. But his real goal is to cut progressives out of the federal workforce. That is a key part of Project 2025. MAGA believes progressives in the federal workforce blocks Trump's ability to implement his anti-black agenda. And many of those progressives that they're aiming for, again, are black because blacks make up about 20% of the federal workforce. So now Trump has empowered Elon to dig deep into the federal system to help him implement Project 2025. What they're now doing will change this country forever, which is exactly what they want. Again, it's a white supremacy takeover that has the full backing of the GOP, white evangelicals, black conservatives, and even pro-black imposters. Now, to prove it's all about white supremacy, let's look at the hiring of one person. This is just a little proof. There's so much more, but I do want you to see just this little proof here that is evidenced by the hiring of this particular person. Let's go to another screen. So there it is. Trump once fired him for palling around with white nationalists. Now Darren Beattie is back. He's back. Even by the low standards of the second Trump administration, Darren Beattie, appointed last week as acting secretary for public diplomacy and public affairs in the State Department, is a controversial pick. That's a highfalutin position that he has. It's not just that Beattie founded and ran a website, Revolver News, that specializes in January 6 conspiracy theories, including claims of an FBI frame-up, or that he recently repeated those conspiracy theories on Donald Trump Jr.'s podcast. No. The truly notable part of Beattie's record is that in 2018, he lost his job as a speechwriter in the first Trump administration, following the revelation by CNN that he had been a speaker at a 2016 alt-right conference featuring prominent white nationalists. Again, palling around with white nationalists. Beattie was reportedly fired after he refused to resign, insisting that he was not a racist and had done nothing wrong. But that was 6 years ago. This is now. The bar has been lowered quite a bit. It's easy to find examples of things Beattie said that would have been instantly disqualifying for a Republican administration not that long ago, such as this tweet, not from a hoary past, but from a month before the 2024 election. Let's read this tweet. And that's all I want us to read from this article. This says it all. So this guy says, competent white men must be in charge if you want things to work. So that statement alone identifies him as a white supremacist, right? And it definitely shows his qualification for being a part of this second Trump administration. He goes on to say, however, unfortunately, our entire national ideology is predicated on coddling the feelings of women and minorities and demoralizing competent white men. I mean, stone cold white supremacists here. That's what these words are. He believes white men are superior. Competent white men must be in charge if you want things to work. If you got blacks involved in things, things are not going to work. If you got women involved, things are not going to work. They only work when you have competent white men, not competent men and or women, but competent white men. That is pure white supremacy. Pure. All right? So if the second Trump administration is filled with such people, can you not see that this is about race more than anything else? Okay? And so Trump is also using his DEI war in the private sector, not just in the public sector, but in the private sector to silence and weaken blacks. Okay? Yeah, now you got some blacks who say anti-DI is more about gays and women. No, don't listen to these low information people. This battle has always been about race. It's always been about race. But what's even more troubling is what Trump told Christians. He said, vote for me, vote me back in, and you won't have to vote again because I'm going to fix it. So what does that mean? Does that mean that there'll be no more voting? That he will declare himself president for life in 2028? Or some other MAGA will be chosen to be president? Folks, we're literally seeing the fulfillment of the last day prophecies that are written in Scripture. These are very concerning days as Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, not just America, in the world, gain control of everyone's private information, very private information that you entrust the government with. Social security numbers, income, medical information. Elon Musk now has all of that information, from what I understand, or is getting close to getting it. Because he is helping MAGA clear out all those progressives in the federal government so that they can put MAGA loyalists in those positions who will not fight Trump's anti-Black agenda. So we're literally seeing a white supremacy takeover, which is really just a continuation of the white backlash that we started experiencing after Obama was reelected. That's where we are. And you need to know about this. You need to know exactly what's going on. All right, I am Reverend and Civil Rights Attorney Augustus Corbett. Thank you again for watching this video. And never, ever forget, always remember to stay woke.